Welcome to Barella Fields in Plainview, New York, where it is a scorcher. First pitch temperature is at around 94 degrees as Verizon Fios One Sports presents the Long Island Hot Stove Baseball Independent Showdown. It's a 13U championship game featuring the Hicksville Elite, based in Hicksville in Nassau County, taking on the Bonnie Bulls, based out of Brooklyn. And with that, we welcome you here again to Plainview alongside Scott Green. I'm Ralph Bednarchuk, wishing you and yours a very happy 4th of July weekend. So, Scott, it is a scorcher. Both teams have also played at a very hot tempo. They've both piled on a ton of runs. They're 3-0 in this tournament, and one of these two teams will come away with their first hardware so far of the young summer.
Well, they haven't had a challenge yet this entire week. When you look at runs scored and run differential, 93-6 combined for both these teams. That's a combination of terrific pitching, and both these teams very deep from the pitching standpoint and hitting. They both can crush the baseball. This is going to be a terrific game for both these teams today.
And while it's early in the summer, it's a summer indeed of transition at the 13U level. First summer, Scott, where the players are moving up from 45-foot bases up to 90, and also no pitch counts on the pitchers. So it's a completely different ball game that they're still getting adjusted to.
Well, and also for the coaches, because strategy becomes a different key also. You don't have to look at the pitch counts and decide how quick are you going to pull your pitcher and bring in somebody fresh. You look from the pitching standpoint, a lot further from home plate. Catchers, they're throwing the ball down a lot further, and everyone on the field has to adapt to the depth perception as opposed to last year.
And also adapt to the heat. 94 degrees at first pitch. We're coming back with the batting orders and the lineups, and then the championship game for the Long Island Hot Stove Independent Showdown from Plainview. It's next on Verizon Fios One Sports. Well, despite hot temperatures, baseball will continue for the Long Island Hot Stove Independence Day Showdown. Welcome to 4th of July weekend. With Scott Green, I'm Ralph Bednarchuk. Let's show you our two teams for this 13U championship game to conclude the tournament. Here are the Hicksville Elite. They'll be the road team here. Connor Wading will lead it off and is in center field, followed by Joe Yavino doing the catching. Torn Kasabam is the extra hitter hitting third. Owen Johansson's at third base. Johansson hitting cleanup. James Sill is in right. Andrew Heiderstadt at second. Timmy Cuomo, the coach's son, is at short. Shane Swartz is in left. Mike Boundless will do the pitching. Gio Frias is at first. And Joseph Gambino is the extra hitter, as Hicksville will bat 10. They will take on a left-hander by the name of Juan Sanchez. Native of Brooklyn, he is expecting to attend and be a freshman at Bishop Loughlin High School in Brooklyn coming up this fall. And his favorite pitcher is Clayton Kershaw. How apropos, because Juan is a left-hander and he has not yet pitched this weekend, so he is ready to go full throttle for the Bonnie Bulls and defensively behind Sanchez. Orm Williams is in left with Ortiz and Daniel in the outfield. Marquise Pearson, Christian Jerez, Morales, and De La Rosa on in the infield, and Jonathan Grant doing the catching for the left-hander Sanchez. So we are ready to go between two teams that have stung the baseball here this weekend. And here is head coach Mike Cuomo, who has just given his lineup in for the Hicksville Elite. Hicksville Elite is just 6-1 this season. This is still a new organization. There's Mike as we follow him along with the son of the team. A new organization, the Hicksville Elite. This is only their third summer of existence. And this group of 13U has made the big step from community or Little League baseball into the travel showcase, which is what the Long Island Hot Stove organization is about. So a big step forward. And there on the right is Luis Ortiz, wearing number 14 there in the orange shirts, and he's been coaching since 2000 with the Bonnie Bulls organization. Big Yankee fan, and his son is also on the team. They finished second already in 2 tournaments, being finalists, so they hope that they can push through and capture their first hardware today. So Sanchez has completed his warm-up tosses, and we are ready to go. Game time temperatures at 94 degrees. Scott, I think we could even make the case it just feels so much hotter than that because there is virtually no breeze this afternoon.
Well, it's just a still day here in Plainview, and you know, I think you got to figure how the kids feel, but they're a lot more resilient than we are. They've played in this all year long. They play it every weekend, and you know what? When you're playing in a championship game, the adrenaline just goes right through you. You forget about how hot it is.
So here's Connor waiting to lead it off, and he is headed to Island Trees High School. That's a very good small school program in Nassau County. And his favorite player is a fellow Long Islander of the Toronto Blue Jays, Marcus Stroman, a product out of Patchogue Medford High School. So here's waiting to lead it off. And Sanchez, they had held him back for this left-hander. Big key for him, he must throw strikes and then be efficient with his pitches. Although, because he hasn't thrown this week, as the first pitch will be fouled and playable for the first baseman in foul ground, making the catch, Brandon De La Rosa. And efficiency was going to be vital for Sanchez. That's a great way to start it, getting an immediate out.
Well, you want to limit your pitch count too, and he was able to get it to the outside. And you just got to credit a great job by Brandon De La Rosa coming over to the fence to make that catch, and early in the game get that quick out.
Here's the catcher, Joey Uvino, hometown of Levittown. He projects to play for the great Doug Robbins over at Levittown Division High School someday. That's a Nassau County power that's consistently competing for county titles. And a first pitch foul off. Uvino also will handle the catching along with the outfield, and lists Gary Sanchez as his favorite, of course, the terrific Yankees catcher, but he wants to be an architect someday. We came in talking about the two teams having incredible run differentials through 3 games. For the Hicksville Elite, 47-3, they have outscored opponents. And within that, Hicksville coach Mike Cuomo saying that probably his team's greatest strength is their aggression, especially on the bases. They're a high IQ team that can take the extra base on you, which could be a factor today against a very good pitcher. This one rolled over, and it'll be even at 2-2.
Juan Sanchez moving the ball up and down in the zone. You get a lot of pitchers. A lot of them go to pitching coaches. They learn from their instructors, and they learn to work the corners. They learn inside, outside. But Sanchez does go high and low, and he's displayed that so far through the first 2 batters.
So Uvino with a step out, followed by Torrin Casabaum next. Here in the top of the first of a 7-inning 13U championship game. And a line shot past the shortstop and a base hit. A 1-out hit for Uvino to start things for Hicksville.
And just a nice piece of hitting for Uvino with a 2-2 count, knowing he had to get anything in the zone. Very aggressive and able to take that ball right up the middle. Just a good. He stepped out, drove the ball up the middle, and just out of the arm stretch hands of Christian Jerez.
So with a runner aboard, and at 13U, 90-foot bases, leading and stealing is allowed. And a called strike here to Torrin Casabaum, the number 3 hitter. That will be at Howitt Middle School for 8th grade, and then eventually to Farmingdale High School down the road to play for one of the big schools in Nassau County.
And this is something that a lot of them aren't used to, is throwing the ball over, getting big leads, and preventing them from taking the extra base on the steal. And that's also an adjustment for the pitcher, throwing from a full windup, learning to move from the stretch position.
There goes Uvino, the pitch low, the throw down by the catcher Grant. It was a good one, but a great jump by Uvino, and he is in scoring position following the stolen base.
And we talk about the adjustments again from the catcher's position. Now you have a long throw down. So a lot of times in a 13U division, you get a lot of stolen bases just until that arm is strong enough to be able to throw the ball down to second. You almost have to throw it even on a bounce sometimes, just keeping it low.
Sanchez gets ahead of Casabaum 1-2. Casabaum, a Met fan, and I'm sure has endured the pains so far of this first half of the season, but a Bryce Harper fan, a division rival of the Nationals. Two and two to Torrin Casabam with a runner on at second. Joey Avino just getting started in this 13U final. The two teams did not meet in pool play, despite each going 3-0. And a toss back just to check on Avino.
Yeah, nice looking move there on the throw down to second base. Juan Sanchez able to make that spin move from the pitcher's mound. Excellent footwork, and he hasn't been doing that all that long, so he picked that up pretty quickly. Two and two again coming to Torrin Casabam. And the Hicksville Elite, their spring Little League season was successful. They went 8-0, able to win the Bethpage, or their area Little League, before jumping into the Long Island Hot Stove League for the Memorial Day tournament, where they reached the final. They're based in Plainview and Bethpage, and have continued that here, going 6-1 through travel ball play as this ball is fouled off. So from a battle-tested standpoint, the Bonnie Bulls would appear to have that significant advantage. The Bonnie Bulls, amazingly, in terms of travel competition, this, Scott, is already their 40th game of the summer before the 4th of July. And they have a great trip coming up. They're going to be playing in the AABC World Series. That's out in Rockford, Illinois. So that's a nice trip. I know they're anxiously trying to raise funds to try to get them to go out there. He said the parents are very, very supportive, and but not just by being here, but financially, because playing at this level of baseball is not cheap to do, and it takes a commitment from both the kids, from playing, and the parents for allowing them to play. The payoff pitch off the glove of Sanchez. He recovers, has just one play, and throws out Casabam. So the runner over to third in Avino. He's there with 2 outs. Big play for Sanchez. A tough play, taking that bounce, getting it off the glove, and still being able to stay with it, get that out. And runner did advance over to third base, so now it becomes a big out coming up here for Sanchez. And we will get a pinch runner because Joey Avino is the catcher. So they will have a pinch runner on for Avino at third. Here's Owen Johansson, the third baseman. And his favorite player is normally a third baseman. He's playing shortstop this year, but Manny Machado of the Baltimore Orioles, and a Northport native that will play at Northport High School in Suffolk County. So Hicksville trying to grab the early lead against a very fresh pitcher in Juan Sanchez of the Bonnie Bulls, an organization based in Brooklyn. And this one will go foul, 1-1. And the Bulls organization, contrary to the Hicksville Elite, only in its third year, the Bonnie Bulls have been around since the 50s. One of the oldest and longest standing baseball travel organizations in New York City, and frankly in the tri-state area. Two and one to Johansson. And the history, as we looked it up, it's just remarkable. We'll get into that, all the different people that the Bonnie Bulls can reach out to for both speaking opportunities and just people they can point to that have made it. 3-1 to Johansson. Nelson Figueroa comes to mind immediately, coming right out of the Brooklyn Bonnies organization.
And many others, and Nelson now having to talk about the Mets daily. And the count will be full to Owen Johansson. And Nelson Figueroa recently spoke to the Bonnie Bulls organization within the last year after retiring, and as he started work with SNY covering the Mets. Runner at third with 2 down, and the payoff pitch by Sanchez. Swing and a miss to retire the side. He gets Owen Johansson swinging. Hicksville puts a runner on at third, but they can't punch him in. We head to the bottom of the first. The Bonnie Bulls are coming up. Here we go for the Bonnie Bulls, based in Brooklyn, as they will bat for the first time here in the home first against the Hicksville Elite. And let's have a look at their batting lineup today. Leading off will be the pitcher, Juan Sanchez, followed by the extra hitter, Willie King. Christian Jerez at shortstop hits number 3. Brandon De La Rosa is at first base. De La Rosa hitting cleanup. Marquise Pearson is at third. Jacob Ortiz is in center with Sebastian Morales in second. Orem Williams is in left. Jonathan Grant doing the catching. And Nadav Daniel is in right. And they oppose a right-hander, Michael Ballas. He is a Hicksville native, headed to Hicksville High School in the fall to be a freshman. Wants to be a graphic designer. And for Ballas, who is, I beg your pardon, a left-hander, he'll also play first base when he is not on the mound. And the important things for him, says Coach Mike Cuomo, is while he is more of a soft tosser, he's got to throw strikes. And the defense behind him with Shane Schwartz, Connor Waiting, and still in the outfield, Johansson, Cuomo, Heiderstadt, and Gio Frias around the near field. Joey Avino doing the catching for Ballas.
A lot of crookeds we're seeing today here. A couple lefties going head-to-head against each other. You don't see a lot of lefties out there, especially go back years ago. Everyone seemed to be righty, and you know, you get a lefty here and everyone gets a different look at the ball coming in.
Juan Sanchez will get his first look at Ballas to lead it off. And Sanchez, tall, and lanky left-handed thrower. We see him now at the plate. And Clayton Kershaw, we've seen him hit the occasional home run too while he's been in the majors at the plate. So Ballas starts him off with ball 1. And can he keep the ball down and throw strikes? Not a hard tosser. And give his defense a chance, and that is the strength of this Hicksville team as Ballas falls behind 2-0.
Brooklyn's lineup of Sanchez, King, Jerez, De La Rosa, one of the top 4 hitters that can really drive a baseball. And you know, we spoke to Coach before the game, and Willie King said he's got to be close to 14 for 20 just in this week alone. So you know, the guys have been really hitting the ball well, and hoping he can carry that into this game.
That offense for the Bonnie Bulls led by the top 4. As Sanchez squared to bunt and pushes it foul 2-2. But that offense almost identical to what the Hicksville Elite have done this weekend. Their run differential is 46-3. And Sanchez rips the ball back up the middle, and a leadoff man is on for the Bonnies.
Well, we said it. This is a very aggressive top 4 here in the lineup. And when you're really aggressive, you just step out, and he takes that curveball and drives it. He's able to sit back on it, wait, and then attack it. You know, when you got a top 4 guys that can really drive the baseball and put you on the board early in a lot of games, that's what they've been able to do. Once they get that lead, they don't look back, and that's what they're going to try to do here.
Now the aforementioned Willie King, a Staten Island native. And he'll be slated to attend Susan Wagner High School. It's a high school power in the public schools in Staten Island. That's produced many players that have gone on to play in college. Jammed here and pops it up. Yavino straight up in the air, makes the catch. And Ballas retires a dangerous hitter for the first out.
Yeah, that's a big out there for Mike Ballas. And when you look at that lineup, Willie King was one that he was one of the most concerned about. You know, and to get him popping up, especially with 1 on, no outs, that's a big advantage, you know, for the Hicksville Elite. And just a great job. And I'll tell you, that's not an easy play. That ball was hit sky high, and
You know, a lot of people just don't realize how tough that is. That ball does a lot of crazy things in the air.
The shortstop, Christian Jerez. Jerez is a Brooklyn native, slated to head to Christ the King High School after graduating from Goddard Middle School. There goes Sanchez. He got a very good jump, and the throw carried through, backed up there by the shortstop and Cuomo, but a stolen base for Juan Sanchez.
And you know what I like about the 13U division? Beside the fact that you have the long throw down to second, so in most cases that ball's going to come in low or off a hop, it really teaches the shortstop to get themselves in good position for backup. This is the age where you're really teaching fundamental positioning in the field, and where you go, you're always moving. Someone always said to us, he goes, you know what? You don't care where you go, but you got to keep moving. You can't be standing still.
Uvino blocks the 1-0 offering from Balness. Looks like he took it kind of off that left shoulder. And the last thing Coach Mike Cuomo wants to see is to lose his starting catcher as they give him a moment.
And that ball is just a curveball down in the dirt, and you know, gets you underneath there. You wear a lot of pads, but you always get hit in the spot that's not covered. And it's a tough position. You know, we know that well.
Now someone has to make the sacrifice and play catcher. And this last generation, many parents and coaches have said, you know, it's just tough to find kids that want to volunteer for it. Parents simply just don't want to put their sons behind the plate.
Well, you want your best opportunity to be a starting player in this, just volunteer to catch.
This one popped up by Jerez, and it'll land beyond the fence for the first strike. So the Bonnies with a one-out base runner on at second. Most of this Bonnies team is going to play in the New York City Catholic League. They have 3 players that are slated to go to Bishop Loughlin. Jerez here, Christ the King. That's produced major leaguers and many college players in the past. As Coach Luis Ortiz told us that this is a very devoted group. And time called before the 2-1.
Now you get to this level and you're getting balk situations. There's no warning anymore. Now it's you balk, you move on.
Jerez sits back on this one and pops it up out to center field. Lined up with it is Waiting, and he was waiting to make the catch. 2 down.
Another big out there for the Hicksville Elite. Got to credit Mike Balness doing a good job keeping these powerhouse Brooklyn hitters off balance. Mixing it up with a lot of change of speed.
So it's up to Brandon De La Rosa with 2 outs. Headed to Midwood High School in Bensonhurst. Another Brooklyn native. This one a jam shot out to center, and it's a base hit. Sanchez got a good beat on it. Here's the throw by Waiting to the plate, and Uvino has to run up and get it. The runner scores behind him. A 2-out base hit for Brandon De La Rosa on the first pitch, and the Bonnie Bulls grab a 1-0 lead.
We talked about Brandon De La Rosa and his ability, what he can do. He takes that ball, sits back on it, and then just slices it out to the outfield. And good base running there by Juan Sanchez, coming around to score. And off to a quick lead. Brooklyn Bonnies 1-0.
The third baseman, Marquise Pearson. With De La Rosa aboard now at first. A big third baseman, one of the many that we'll see here on this 4th of July weekend that are listing Mike Trout as their favorite player. And another one that will be a future teammate of De La Rosa's at Midwood High School in Bensonhurst. This one popped down the right field line, a long run, but it will be foul into the corner.
Just right over our tent. We lost the sighting on it, and that ball was hit. That ball was hit a ton. He's got out a little bit too early, and he just launched it down the right field line. There we are under that white tent, and just right over our heads.
Avino able to block the 1-2. You can see Pearson already has great strength for a 13-year-old. Says he's also ambidextrous. So I believe he is a righty thrower, lefty hitter as he checks his swing there and takes a ball outside. 3-2. I'll check that. They'll say that he went around, so Pearson is gone. Boundless picks up the strikeout, but the Bonnie Bulls grab the lead. A run on 2 hits, and they leave 1. We go to the second of this 13U championship game for the Long Island Hot Stove Baseball Independent Showdown on Verizon Fios One Sports. Each team with hits in the first inning, but the Bonnie Bulls have taken the 1-0 lead of this 7-inning 13U championship game here from Barella Fields in Plainview on this scorcher of an afternoon and 4th of July weekend. Ralph Bednarchik with Scott Green. Top of the second inning for the Hicksville Elite, and they'll have 5, 6, and 7 with James Sill of Levittown to lead it off against Juan Sanchez. After the Elite stranded a runner on at third with 2 down. So Sill plays right field, lists Josh Donaldson of the Blue Jays, their great third baseman, as his favorite player, and another one that will eventually matriculate to Levittown Division High School and look to play for that great varsity team. Right now he's at Wisdom Lane Middle School for 8th grade coming up in the fall. Sanchez allowed a first inning single up the middle and was able to strike out Owen Johansson to get out of the inning. A ball and a strike.
Well, that Levittown program has been good for so many years. I mean, that was just a system. You know, it started down in the junior high. Actually started down in the instructionals in the Little League program, and then it just builds and builds. And this is even before all the big travel programs are out there.
And a lot of credit goes to Doug Robbins, as there's a half swing and a miss by Sill. And the devotion that it takes. It was a banner year for Long Island High School baseball, Massapequa, in the big schools in New York State. This ball lifted in the air, right field. Orem Williams, who had moved from left now to right, and he has it for the first out of the second. Massapequa went upstate, did very well. Wantagh, their 3rd consecutive county title.
Nice job coming on in and making the play. And there's a little bit of breeze up in the air. You can see it moving around. Nothing's easy. You know, nothing's easy, and these players are still learning that depth perception, especially in the outfield. A lot bigger field than they played on just a few months ago.
Andrew Heiderstadt goes after the first pitch and serves it out to center field. Well, coming in and making the catch, Jacob Ortiz. Able to adjust with that ball in the air. 2 gone.
Ortiz just covered a lot of real estate on this one. I mean, he came from almost a little bit of left center, clear across, and you know, these plays look easy on television, but that was a long way Ortiz came to make that play.
Now the shortstop, Timmy Cuomo, first pitch fouling it off, and he, like his dad, head coach Mike Cuomo, will be at Hicksville High School coming up in the fall, and like Dad Mike, who is a Hicksville shortstop, Timmy one day hopes to reach the varsity and follow in his footsteps.
And it looks like Sanchez has really settled in just coming into the second inning. It looks like the pitch locations are being given a little bit differently. He was going more high and low in the first inning. Now he's kind of just going right after the hitters, and I think that might have been the philosophy. Lower the pitch count, get out in quick innings, let the defense field behind you, and sometimes that's always the best way to go.
Well, I was going to be able to come anyways because they were this morning. I don't do well with
And a check swing foul off by Cuomo. And the count holding at 1-2. A proud papa there in the dugout. We got a chance to meet Dad Mike Cuomo. And in many of these travel organizations and Little League, of course, you'll have multiple parents coaching these teams. With Mr. Johansson, also the assistant to Mike Cuomo. There's Mike. And Mike told us about his baseball background. He goes back to the time where the Bayside Yankees were, now they're still a dominant organization, but at the time when they were almost by themselves. A swing and a miss, and he stays alive to get a piece. But at that time, in the 80s and 90s especially, the Bayside Yankees essentially had a virtual monopoly on high-end high school baseball talent. Virtually anybody that projected to be somebody, particularly from the 5 boroughs, New Jersey and Long Island, played for the Bayside Yankees. A ground ball to third. Easy play for the third baseman there, Marquise Pearson, and there's 3 up, 3 down for Hicksville. We head to the home second. The Bonnie Bulls of Brooklyn with the 1-0 lead. Home second inning, and the Bonnie Bulls with a run on 2 hits in the first. Come up against Mike Boundless here in the second. And with the coach's son, Jacob Ortiz, to lead it off, the center fielder for the Bonnie Bulls organization. As Dad Luis told us, they are from the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Jacob attending East Side Community School in Manhattan. Eventually will go to East Side Community High School. And has been a staple since Luis had a son and has been coaching him since birth. So Boundless has gone through his warm-up tosses. He gave up a run on 2 hits before striking out Marquise Pearson to get out of the inning. And he chases after a first pitch breaking ball as he wanted to send that one high and far. It is a big field here at Barella Fields, the 90 feet. Anything over the center fielder's head has a chance to be an in the Parker. This one sent out to right and making the catch, James Sill. Sill for a moment looked like he may have misjudged it before he was able to recover.
He fooled me on that. He went back, caught it, then turned around and went to go look down the line and realized it was in his glove. That was just a great catch right there. Got to give yourself credit on that. Hey, here he comes. He comes in, looking to make the catch, and he turns around. Hey, where's the ball?
And you notice how shallow the outfielders still play here. Anything over their heads is virtually a home run. Hard not to get one. So Sebastian Morales takes a breaking ball strike. So you need athletic outfielders as well as outfielders that communicate and back one another up. Nothing at 2 to Sebastian Morales. He is a Jersey City native, with the Bonnie Bulls being very well represented. And Sill with a big sigh of relief to grab that catch, and we notice he had a big smile on his face too. Fortunate to grab it.
I know, Ralph, you had the opposite of that. There were plays when you were back in the Floral Park Little League where you thought you caught it and it was over your head.
Yeah, those fences were a lot shorter as this ball right back to Boundless on the comebacker, and Morales is gone for 2 away.
When you pitch well and you let them hit, you keep them off balance, and even better, I love a pitcher that can field their position. You take away the whole middle.
So 2 outs and nobody on, and here's Orem Williams, who's been playing either left or right in this game, and he attacks the first pitch foul. Orem, like Jacob Ortiz, also attending Eastside Community Middle School and then Eastside Community High School coming up. And a Yankee fan that plays the outfield but likes Didi Gregorius. As Boundless misses wide, 2-1.
That's twice he went upstairs on him. You know, small strike zone, going up and trying to get him to go up top for it.
Williams hitting 8th in the Bonnie Bulls lineup out of 10 batters. And Williams ahead 3-1. Usually plays on the infield, but with the Bulls missing a key figure in the lineup, as that ball missing just high. So Williams will work on a 2-out walk here. The Bulls missing Jalen Bryant, who would probably be starting somewhere in the outfield or at third base. Luis Ortiz mentioning wanting to get him a shout out. He's been a very important reason why the Bulls are 27-12. Well, this is a very deep program, 15 players. And 1 through 15, I got the sense that there is the pecking order is very tight from 1 through 15.
It's nice to have when you're out there. Keep an eye on Williams. He's a threat to go.
This pitch gets away from Yavino, and Williams will easily take second base on the wild pitch. So another runner in scoring position for the Bulls, with the catcher Jonathan Grant at the plate. And you noticed he was a Jonathan Lucroy fan, and their former Texas Rangers catcher, a one-time Ranger catcher. Lucroy now with Oakland, but that's who Jonathan, a catcher himself, lists as his favorite player. Orem Williams from second. And this one rolled over to short. Up with it, Timmy Cuomo across in time for the out, and Balness works around the runner in scoring position. The Bulls leave one. We head to the third, and the Bonnie Bulls of Brooklyn still holding a 1-0 lead. Third inning, and the Bonnie Bulls of this 7-inning 13U championship game from Barella Fields in Plainview still with the 1-0 lead, as they'll have the bottom, or they'll see the bottom of the Hicksville Elite order coming up against left-hander Juan Sanchez. Sanchez so far has struck out a batter and not walked anyone and given up a base hit up the middle, as well as singled while he was at the plate. So here's Shane Schwartz starting today in left field, and a Farmingdale native out of Howitt Middle School, but down the road he's going to commute all the way to Huntington in Suffolk County and attend St. Anthony's. Usual spot is second base, and that's why his favorite player is Jose Altuve. As Sanchez misses outside, it'll be Schwartz followed by the pitcher Balness, and then Gio Frias in the Hicksville third.
Well, 2 pitches just missed up high and on the outside part of the plate. So he's doing a good job trying to spot his pitches.
Sanchez challenging Schwartz. A couple of flyouts in the second inning before getting the bounce out to the third baseman on Timmy Cuomo to close out the second. And now 3-1 to Schwartz. And the first walk yielded by Juan Sanchez. So the leadoff batter is on for the first time for either team.
Well, Hicksville will be doing some traveling this year, too. They're going to be headed down to the shore in Connecticut, and that's going to be in July. And then they're going to be heading to Ripken in August. And wow, what a complex Ripken is. That is a special place to watch and play baseball.
Boundless also will be attending Hicksville High School. Stands at the plate. Left-handed pitcher, right-handed batter. As a check on Shane Schwartz, but Boundless did not give away the bunt. And that complex, located in Aberdeen, Maryland, you'll immediately notice if you drive south on I-95, Ripken Stadium, where the Aberdeen Ironbirds play. They're a minor league organization of the Orioles, playing in the New York Penn League. So you can't miss their ballpark, which is on the right-hand side, and then all the Ripken facilities surrounded a little bit more inland off 95. Schwartz not going, and Boundless taking ball 2. Hicksville was aggressive as they stole a bag in the first inning against Sanchez with Torrin Kassabaum at the plate. And Boundless taking all the way for a 2-1. Yeah, we'll check on the War on the Shore tournament. I think that's in New Haven. That takes place. And Boundless way out in front of it, 2-2.
I'll tell you, the heat has to be taking a toll on the pitchers, and just consistently throwing and the body heat. This is where hydration comes a big play when you get back to that dugout.
And Boundless just reaching very late to get a piece of it. 2-2 as Sanchez trying to put him away. Well, notable places that have extreme heat: St. Louis, Kansas City. In the middle of the summer, not unusual to see pitchers change their jerseys and shirts during games. 3-2 now to Boundless.
These are the days where the pools in the backyard come in handy.
There goes Schwartz, and the 3-2 pitch misses low, ball 4, so consecutive walks issued by Sanchez. Puts 2 on for Hicksville.
Now, these are the opportunities that Hicksville has to take advantage of when you get some runners on, and they're going to come out and they're going to talk things over here. This is a situation where Brooklyn has not had to worry too much about this over the last 3 games. They were able to garner a bigger enough lead that a couple walks here and there didn't make a difference. It's 43 pitches now he's thrown thus far.
Head coach Luis Ortiz is out to speak to his infield, how they're going to handle this with a potential bunt opportunity too for Hicksville. And the conversation very brief with Sanchez.
The people that you really got to keep hydrated out here, you just saw the coaching staff running some water out to our friends in blue, the umpires. The umpire came down here last inning, getting some shade underneath the tent. They got to hydrate themselves as well.
So the first baseman, Giovanni Frias, and a Jamaica, New York, just across the border into Queens from Nassau. And Sanchez has not been able to find the strike zone here. And now a delayed steal with the ball getting away from the catcher, and both runners will advance. Unable to find the ball was Jonathan Grant behind him. And Sanchez did not call for his catcher, or at least point to where it was. Both base runners were alert. Schwartz to third and Boundless to second.
That's some heads-up baseball. We spoke to him before the game, and we said, what are some of the key things you guys do so well? And he used the term baseball smart, and that's just good heads-up base running.
That takes the force out of the equation. Second and third, nobody out for Hicksville. A ball and a strike to Frias. That will attend Excelsior Prep High School. Not familiar with it. And Sanchez falls behind 2-1. A much different inning compared to the second, where he attacked all three hitters. Frias can give Hicksville the lead. Here's a called strike, 2-2. Frias, the number 9 hitter in the Hicksville order, with Joe Gambino waiting on deck. And a big swing and a miss, and Sanchez picks up an important first down. Second strikeout for Juan Sanchez.
Oh, that's a big out. Juan Sanchez needed that one, get that first one under his belt, and does a good job pitching here. Goes to the outside, out of the zone, and gets him going for it. So, this is where Sanchez needs to battle again and try to keep those runners from crossing the plate.
Extra hitter, number 10 batter in the lineup, Joseph Gambino. Gambino headed to Hicksville Middle School for 8th grade coming up in the fall, and has not decided yet where he's going after that. Normally will pitch or play the outfield. And another Mike Trout fan. And Sanchez, there's his best pitch of the inning, a solid strike, 1-1.
Sanchez getting back into that groove he had back in the second inning. He started putting the ball over the plate, hitting his spots, and this is where he wants to continue with second and third.
And a ground ball past the mound. This is going to score a run, charging with a bare hand to throw in time for the out. But a run comes in, and Hicksville has tied the game up at 1. Good play from Christian Jerez, though the shortstop at 13U be able to barehand and get an out.
Well, he was able to knock the ball down, was Juan Sanchez, and Christian Jerez comes over and barehands it and makes a good play. That was a close call, but the run does score, and we're even.
Over to third went Balness. So now the go-ahead run is on there with 2 gone for the top of the order, and Connor waiting. Waiting popped out foul on the game's first pitch. This one past the mound. More routine play for Jerez. It's under his glove. It'll go into the outfield. Balness scores, and Hicksville takes the lead. Jerez was expecting a hop. It never came. And an E6 against the Bonnie shortstop.
Well, Sanchez got the pitch he wanted and, make that play, and just didn't come up. Sometimes you got to field that ball before you make that throw over. And, just like that, Hicksville with the lead.
So an unearned run for the Hicksville Elite. Joey Avino. So both walks in the inning have come around to score. And helped a lot out by the delayed steal with Frias at the plate. Yavino still has Hicksville's lone hit of the game. That was a solid single to center field with one down in the first. And Sanchez falling behind again, 2-0. He's walked two both of this inning. He has struck out a pair.
Still nobody throwing for the Bonnies. Not as of yet. But you got to figure they're going to be up and throwing in the bullpen pretty soon. His pitch count's starting to really climb.
Picking up the strike there, 2-1. The expectation by the Bonnie Bulls manager and head coach Luis Ortiz was he is ready to go 6 innings. With Brandon De La Rosa scheduled to back up Sanchez, that plan may have to change.
Coach was telling us De La Rosa he likes to use as the closer. He brings in 1 inning, close the door, but they got a long way to go in this one.
This one sent out to center field. Jacob Ortiz. A pair of runs score for Hicksville, including the go-ahead run and unearned run. 2 runs on no hits, and the Elite leave 1 on. Middle of the third, 2-1 Hicksville Elite. We return to Plainview on Verizon Fios 1 Sports. The Bonnie Bulls find themselves trailing as we go to the home 3rd inning here at Barella Fields in Plainview. Side of the annual Long Island Hot Stove Baseball Independent Showdown. This is the 10th year of this event. Used to be known as the Bethpage Baseball Independence Open before they moved into a partnership with Hot Stove Baseball. Here's Nadav Daniel, 10th man in the Bonnie Bulls order, and playing left field now, starting the game to right. And first pitch swinging as he fouls it off from Mike Balness, still going for Hicksville, 0-1.
Well, first time Brooklyn trailing in this tournament this week. Uncharted waters.
And just 30 pitches for Balness. He has limited the Bonnies to just 1 walk. And that pitch missing outside 1-1. He wanted that call. So he has been able to stay ahead of hitters. He's also struck out a batter. Swing and a miss there as Daniel, again, wanted to crush that pitch. Nadav will be headed to the High School of Telecommunications, Brooklyn native. And a swing and a miss on the ball in the dirt. Picked up by Yavino. He completes the strikeout. Second strikeout for Balness. And right now he has the Bonnie Bulls way out in front and off balance.
And that's just a great play here. You know, you're able to get down, and Mike Balness gets the ball down and low on the inside. You know, sometimes on those 2-strike counts, you risk the fact that the catcher may not be able to catch it, and you allow them to advance to first. But you know, good execution there and good quick out.
Here's the top of the order, Juan Sanchez. He's got the lone run scored as he looks to lay down a bunt and fouls it just off the plate, 0-1.
That was a great play by Frias, too, being able to make that play. He was lined up on the outside part of the baseline, and that ball came to the inside, so he had to screen himself on the runner and still make that play.
And again, Sanchez well out in front, and 2 frustrating foul balls from the Bonnies' leadoff hitter. He had a sharp single on the ground up the middle in the first inning and came around to score. And Balness tries to extend the strike zone with Sanchez laying off. The extra hitter, Willie King, is on deck. On a swing and a miss, another ball outside the strike zone. Throw down again, completed by Yavino. So a pair of K23s for Balness. And there's 2 gone in the inning.
Well, Balness is really executing the off-speed pitch, and that hook is coming in really low. It's just dropping, and that time to the outside part of the plate that, you know, you get a batter going for that, they're not going to have a chance. So just an excellent job by Mike Balness and starting to really get in control of his pitches.
It's up to Willie King now for the Bonnie Bulls. He popped out foul right on the plate to Yavino his first time up.
Well, Yavino's has the biggest challenge today, trying to catch those off-speed pitches. Those aren't easy to do.
And this one pulled and hit hard, but foul by King. You can see the bat speed that Willie King has, already at just 13 years old. Balness just missing there. Look great from where we're sitting, 2-1. Balness trying to come up with his first 1-2-3 inning and get the Hicksville Elite back in the dugout with the lead. And he picks out the strikeout, so the earlier pitch had to be a strike called. We didn't get the great signal from the home plate up, but Balness strikes out the side into the third. And he gets through a couple of dangerous hitters. Now 4 strikeouts for Balness. We go to the 4th, and the Hicksville Elite still with the 2-1 lead. Mike Balness striking out the side in the bottom of the 3rd for the Hicksville Elite, and his offense coming up here in the 4th with this 2-1 lead despite just 1 hit. Including this, got a couple of K23s on pitches out of the strike zone.
We talked about it, his ability to throw that hook down in the lower part of the zone to really get them striking out, and just you got to credit the catcher, Joey Yavino, doing a wonderful job calling the game behind home plate. And you know, especially in this heat, that's the guy that's putting on all the equipment. You know, so I got to give a lot of credit to Joey Yavino of Hicksville.
Here's Torrin Casabom. 3, 4, and 5 now for Hicksville after they were able to plate a couple of runs in the 3rd, including an unearned run to take the lead. Casabom bounced out a comebacker hit to Sanchez in the 1st. So the Elite have capitalized on a pair of leadoff walks in the 3rd inning. And that stands to be the difference. And let's see if we get a different kind of looking inning from Juan Sanchez on the hill for the Bonnies. It'll be Casabom followed by Owen Johansson and James Sill. And there's the outside part of the strike zone, 1-1. Sanchez did get a visit after walking consecutive batters in the 3rd. And the pitch inside, 2-1. And for the record, there are no limits on mound visits in youth baseball. That is only started this year in the major leagues, where you have 6 mound visits. A swing and a miss as Sanchez saw Casabom late on that pitch, 2-2. I don't know if we'll ever see that in the youth level, though.
No.
This one rolled over to short. Big hop for Jerez. 1 gone in the 4th.
Nice play there from Jerez. Routine play. Good piece of contact. Hard hit ball. Yeah, come up and make that throw. A nice job.
Owen Johansson struck out swinging in the 1st. This is the 10th year of this tournament, based here in Barella Fields. And a lot of work that goes into it. 6 different fields are utilized that these two teams have to come through. At the 13U level, you can see, check out the program guide. You can watch the 15U championship that we'll be televising too from Long Island Hot Stove Baseball. That final has been decided. It's a local team. The Bethpage Eagles blue team advances against the Long Island Dodgers. This is a rope hit out to left by Owen Johansson. And a 1-out base runner for Hicksville, just their second hit, a solid single to left.
That was a frozen rope out to left field and took a big hop out in left field, but he threw that ball right out in front of the plate and just drove it. Great piece of hitting.
That brings up James Sill. Hicksville was aggressive running against Sanchez every time they've gotten a chance, as this pitch is blocked by the catcher Grant. They stole a bag in the first inning, and then a delayed double steal in the third that really set up the inning and allowed Hicksville to take the lead without a base hit. And a close play there at first, but the ball was dropped by De La Rosa. Would have been an interesting call.
He was caught leaning there too. I think he held on to the ball. He had a pickoff play there. You freeze a runner like he did.
Here comes the 65th pitch by Sanchez. And a high fastball, 1-1. And the block there by Grant. Ball out in front of the plate. And again, hesitating and taking off and taking second is Johansson. So that's going to be a wild pitch. But second time that Hicksville has been able to take the extra base. Grant was not able to pounce on that ball immediately despite it being in front of him. And Sill get way out in front of that pitch, 2-2. On deck is Andrew Heiderstadt with Hicksville trying to play it across. An extra run here against an explosive Bonnie Bulls offense.
That's funny. I asked someone, I said, this one always went for high pitches. I said, what is it about high pitches that makes every youngster go for? And he says, you know what it is? It's closest to your eyes. That's why.
This pitch is in the dirt, and a throw down, then a throw over to third. Gets away from the third baseman, Pearson, but there is no advance. So it's a strikeout and a K23. Third strikeout for Sanchez as he gets Sill, but able to take the extra base is Johansson.
Well, down in the dirt again and make that throw over. And then when that throw came over here, watch it go across the diamond. Just kind of a nonchalant catch. And, you know, you're nonchalant. You don't treat that seriously. Lucky he didn't score there. Well, they were rushing him home, and they held him up.
Andrew Heiderstadt takes a called strike. He flew out to center field his first time up. A chance for Hicksville to add to this 2-1 lead. And Heiderstadt puts this one on the ground to second. Slow roller, and it'll be a close play in time for the out. Well, the second baseman there backed off on the ball. Sebastian Morales, it nearly cost him. But Heiderstadt is retired by just a step. For Hicksville, no runs, a base hit, and a man left at third. Middle of the fourth in Plainview, still a 2-1 Hicksville lead. So the home fourth, the Bonnie Bulls bladed across a run on 2 hits in the first, and then Mike Boundless of the Hicksville Elite has kept them off balance ever since. As the Bulls come up with 3, 4, and 5 in their lineup. And here are the numbers on Boundless so far with the 3 innings. 1 walk, which was important to Coach Mike Cuomo, and he struck out 4, especially over the last 3 innings, Scott. He has increasingly kept Bonnie's hitters off balance.
He's been very good when he's able to get that off-speed pitch in, and he's been terrific. And you see right there, I mean, that's a tough pitch to hit, and that ball comes in to your eyes looking like it's going to come across the plate like a big meatball, and then it just drops off the plate. It's just a terrific pitch. He gets that mastered, and if he can just control that pitch every time he wants to throw it, it's going to be very effective.
That's now 9 first pitch strikes by Boundless out of the 13 hitters he's faced. As Jerez lays off of this pitch.
Every pitcher has that one pitch that they have to own. And when you own that one pitch and you have the ability as to be your go-to, when nothing else works, that's what separates the real good pitchers from the average pitchers.
And Boundless, another good breaking ball, 1 and 2. And it's not, as Mike Cuomo told us, it's not going to be high miles per hour. Well, he's keeping hitters off balance, just like Jerez there. And how many young players can hit quality breaking balls or see quality breaking balls at this stage of their careers? Not many.
Well, the problem is, too, these kids go to the batting cages where they're like, oh, let's see how fast I can hit, and then all of a sudden they get the timing down of hitting fast pitching, and then you get someone that throws average speed, and that just takes you right out of your realm. And then that's why when not always is the pitching machine the best way to go.
And a 2-2 pitch just fouled off as Yavino tried to hold on, and they got a little piece of the umpire too. So he'll take a moment here.
Man, you got a day like today, 96 degrees, and oof.
And that got the home plate umpire square. And this will also prompt a mound visit just to give the home plate ump a few extra seconds. So some nice sportsmanship. I don't know if the home plate ump has a second game to work, but I bet you he can't wait to take off the pads and just unwind after this one.
That's what I've always liked about this tournament. We've been covering this event for so many years. It's one of our favorite events. Kids, terrific sportsmanship. It's such a well-run, well-organized event. Umpires come out. Very, very, very good umpiring. The parents are terrific. We love chatting with the parents in between the games. It was just a nice day. Maybe the hottest one we've had yet.
Definitely the hottest one, I think. We're fortunate we're under a canvas, because I don't know what we would do. Jerez has waited out Boundless to a payoff pitch coming up to lead off the home fourth. And they call a strike 3 looking there, and Jerez can't believe it. So Boundless picks up the strikeout, his 5th. He has struck out 4 in a row.
Well, every umpire has their zone. He stuck his foot out into the middle there, too. He's like he wasn't called out just for that alone. But, home plate umpires are really giving the inside part of the plate, and that's the part of the plate you got to protect.
First pitch swinging and a bouncing ball to Cuomo, short by Brandon De La Rosa. Cuomo gets up and throws low, and aboard is De La Rosa with the E6 throwing error. So the tying run is aboard with 1 gone.
Good attempt there from Timmy Cuomo, and the ball's hit right at him. He just lost his footing, wasn't able to pick it up. Tried to make the strong throw and then make that pick over at first base, and was Gio Frias, but you got to give an error on that one.
And first pitch swinging, Marquise Pearson Big hop over to second. They get one at second by Cuomo. Return throw in time for the double play. They double up Pearson. A slow developing bouncing ball. Good turn by Timmy Cuomo to make that happen. And the Hicksville Elite are fired up as they're back in the dugout through 4, holding the 2-1 lead. Start of the 5th inning. Hicksville Elite still with a 2-1 lead. The difference is an unearned run they scored in the 3rd. And Timmy Cuomo, the shortstop for Hicksville, will lead it off against Juan Sanchez. Cuomo bounced out to third his first time up, but just turned a terrific 4-6-3 slow developing double play to get Hicksville Elite into the dugout. And the whole team was excited as they ran off the field. Timmy had to just run up to the batter's box. They were all still celebrating a good 30 seconds after.
Well, I don't blame them. That was just a well-executed double play.
Meanwhile, the numbers on Sanchez and the 2 walks that stand out. Both runs came around to score. There's the called strike here to Cuomo. Cuomo reaches out, and this one popped up on the infield. Big hop. Jerez didn't field it cleanly, and Cuomo is safe. Well, at first the ball kind of popped high in the air, looked like it might reach the outfield, then it sort of died as Jerez went back of the ball, and Cuomo is going to take an infield single out of this.
Well, you know what happens is you get a lot of the kids that play way deep, and you get a soft hit ball, you got to come in a long way, and it makes a very tough play.
So second time the Hicksville Elite have the leadoff runner on. We'll see how Shane Schwartz may play it. You get a feeling that an extra run for the Hicksville Elite would be gigantic against a Bonnie's offense that has been tearing the cover off the ball all weekend. Schwartz had the leadoff walk in the 3rd inning and came around to score. This one a rocket to Pearson at 3rd. Goes to second for 1. Morales with a turn. Low throw. And hustling there is Schwartz to beat it out. But the Bonnies get the lead runner.
Nice play over there. Marquise Pearson scooping that one up, getting it over, and just can't turn that double play. And I know Juan Sanchez wanted to see that one. Had plenty of time. His footwork was terrific. Just the throw was off.
Yeah, better throw. They probably get the double play. Here's Mike Bowness. A walk and the go-ahead run scoring in the 3rd. And Bowness, when he's not pitching, is playing first base. For Hicksville, Joe Gambino would be the likely next pitcher. We'll see how much longer Bowness will go as he continues to keep Bonnie Bull's hitters off balance. And this pitch against the jackknife out of the way. Schwartz the runner on at first. He stole the base in that 3rd inning. And Grant blocked it for a moment, but again doesn't pick it up. And retreating back to first is Schwartz. And there was an opportunity there to take second.
Schwartz was a good third the way down the line there, and he got a good lead, was able to get a good secondary, and then almost went halfway. And I don't know. Sometimes the coaches will play a little conservative and say, hey, we got a 1-run lead here. Let's not risk it.
2-2, and Grant has not been able to pick up the ball for whatever reason in the dirt as immediately, I think, as they would like. And Sanchez is 2-2. Another little pop up to short. Jerez this time to Morales for one, and then they get Ballas on the turn at first. So both teams have turned double plays on Juan Sanchez's 80th pitch of the game. The Bonnies turn a 6-4-3 to get out of the inning. We head to the bottom of the fifth. Still a 2-1 Hicksville lead. Hicksville still with a 2-1 lead as we go to the home fifth. And Mike Ballas has limited the Bonnies to just 2 hits over 4+ innings as he goes back to the mound here. He has struck out 5 batters and over a period from the 3rd to the 4th struck out 4 in a row. And then his defense picked him up by turning an inning-ending double play in the 4th. So before the batter, Jacob Ortiz will come up. Brief conference here with Yavino, his catcher.
You got to credit both pitchers in this game. I mean, these are two teams that have been putting up over 14 runs per contest in the 3 games they've had this week. And, you know, here we're looking at 5 hits combined. It's, you know, just a nice job. And not just the pitchers, but the defense behind it. You know, fighting the elements and getting it done.
Each team is turned to double play. Jacob Ortiz flying out to right his first time up on one of the better hit balls against Ballas today. This one also out to right. Sill reaching back and again makes the catch as that one continued to drift and challenged him before he reached up and grabbed it.
Well, Sill's had 2 nice catches today. We got highlight films. He goes back this time, and you know, that ball's hit better than I think he thought, and you know, he torched that one. And anytime the glove goes up and you got to go behind your head, that was a tough play. But he knew he had it this time.
Risky business out in the outfield. Anything over your head is a game-changing kind of a play. Sebastian Morales on the ground to short. Cuomo. It's a long throw, and it cannot be dug out by the first baseman Frias. It was there, and Morales is on. Certainly with a better throw, you have it out. So another E6.
You know, when you get to this level of 13, you look how deep Cuomo's playing. And, you know, what starts to happen is, you know, you're making the adjustment to the depth of shortstop. You almost have to play them in a little bit more because that throw is a long throw for someone moving from 12U to 13U.
And from 45-foot bases up to 90. So the diameter of the field completely changes. And we've seen it in this game how base runners can take advantage of catchers as Orem Williams takes a pitch in the dirt. Orem is the lone walk issued by Ballas today. He was left stranded at second in the 2nd. And this is a foul ball at the plate. And Tom will be called as Williams will have a word with his third base coach. The Bulls have not looked to sacrifice. We saw Juan Sanchez try to lay down a bunt earlier in the game, but that was for a base hit. And they have not forced Ballas to try to field this position, particularly for a left-hander.
Yeah, and that's one of the things is as moving up to 13U with the longer bases. I'm thinking, you know, me personally, if I was coaching a team like this and you want to coach for strategy at the tournament level, bunting would be such a huge advantage because now you look at how much the third basemen and the pitchers and the first basemen have to charge, and then you'd be able to run those out. I could see that, you know, doing that all the time and just play small ball throughout. You know, I know you want to teach kids how to swing away and drive a baseball, but, you know, when it comes down to strategy and winning tournaments, you know, sometimes you try to teach winning, you know.
Williams waiting on a 1-2 pitch from Ballas. And a line shot at the center field, caught by the center fielder, a stinging line drive that Waiting was able to run onto. 2 away.
The Bonnies have been able to make their contact today, and you know the outfield is doing a good job, and that ball was hit right on the button and just right at center field. So you almost wonder, hey, sooner or later are these going to start to fall? But here we are in the 5th inning, and you're only trailing by 1 run.
Jonathan Grant, the catcher, takes a ball. He bounced out to short his first time up. Here's pitch number 60 by Ballas. The runner goes. It's a strike. Thrown out to second, and it was hauled down.
Yeah, he's going back to first base, and apparently it was a foul tip somewhere.
It appeared to me on first look that the ball was caught out of the air on the swing by Grant, but they are sending the runner Sebastian Morales back to first. Luis Ortiz, I think, has the same argument. So Williams takes low. Let's see what happens. And we can't tell if there's any contact. That's ball 3 high, snap throw to first, and Morales is back in time.
Good looking throw by Jovino. Joey Jovino really is showing his ability behind the dish, and you know, calling a game, making good plays, and terrific arm.
And that's ball 4. So the Bonnies will get a runner on to second base anyway. Now let's get a second look, and we're going to watch the swing of Orem Williams.
And the pitch goes up in the zone, and they foul tip according to the home place umpire.
But still, the foul tip was caught out of the air. So that's what I think Luis Ortiz is puzzled by.
Right.
That's still a continuation.
Yep.
So the Bulls do get their runner on to second. The tying run is there. The go-ahead run out at first. And the first pitch to Nadav Daniel is a little number foul just outside the plate. Daniel struck out on a ball in the dirt in the 3rd inning. The Bulls looking for their first hit since the first. Well, they had a pair of singles that plated the game's first run. And this ball is slashed the other way to second. Nice big easy hop for Heidenstadt, and he gets Daniel out to retire the side. So the Bulls leave a pair stranded. Mike Ballas has thrown 5 innings of 1-run ball, and the Hicksville Elite still maintaining that 2-1 lead. To the top of the 6th inning of this 7-inning 13U championship game from the Long Island Hot Stove Baseball Independence Showdown here at Barella Fields in Plainview. 10th year of this event, with championships all the way up to 16U level. Ralph Bnorchik with Scott Green, and the Hicksville Elite with the lead, and they're at the plate with Gio Frias taking a pitch inside from Juan Sanchez. Frias, one of the 3 strikeout victims of Sanchez today. And that ball missing high, 2-0. And Sanchez has been trying to find his command all day after a very good start through his first, I'd say, 6 to 7 batters, before culminating with a pair of back-to-back walks in the 3rd inning that really hurt him. Both runs came around to score, and he's been falling behind ever since.
Well, we spoke to Coach Luis Ortiz before the game, and And he said he typically will put an 80 pitch max on his pitchers, but I guess he's waiving that one on this one.
And that's ball 4, so the first pitch must not have been a strike. So there's a leadoff walk in the 6th now for Hicksville. So Gio Frias is on. And the 3rd leadoff batter that the Hicksville Elite have had today. So here's Joe Gambino. We'll see if the Elite may try to put the bunt into play. And with a check on the runner, Frias, Gambino did not give anything away. Not bunting. And he takes a fastball high. On deck, the leadoff batter, Connor Waiting. There's a called strike, 1-1. Gambino with a 6-3 bounce out in the 3rd inning, and that drove in the tying run. He lifts this ball into shallow second, running in and making the catch, Morales, and retreating back to first is Frias, 1 gone.
Yeah, we talk about it in the infield. Everything's a battle. You got to run in for it. A lot of soft hits, and he sat back, just got underneath that one, making a nice play. And the Brooklyn Bonnies want to really get out of this inning, get back up, still trailing by 1. Averaging over 14 runs a game this week. Not happy with the offensive output today.
Waiting, he squares to bunt. It's a good one. Grant from behind the plate throws to pick up the out, but the sacrifice successful with Frias advancing to second. So our first sacrifice of the game.
Just a nice job. He had the bat out in front, popped it up a little bit, but because everyone was playing so deep, it didn't hurt him. And he moves them over. Long run on the bunts.
Gio, I got you, man. Come on up. Come on up, Gio. Nobody.
So with 2 down, it's up to Joey Uvino,
Off, man. Off.
the catcher for Hicksville.
Nobody's there, Gio. They're off. Off. Hey, Gio. That thing goes past. You gotta be on third.
Uvino has singled and then hit a good ball out to center field that was tracked down by Jacob Ortiz.
Hey, you got room. You're good. You're good. Right on it.
And he's right on it with Sanchez picking up the foul ball, 1-1. And looking ahead to the Bonnies' 6th inning of this 7-inning game, the Bulls will have the top of the order up, so they love to keep it here at just a 1-run deficit. And a breaking ball strike. There goes the runner with a delayed steal, and easily taking it is Frias. Perhaps surprising the Bulls there.
Hicksville looking to try to put a little insurance on the board here, and they have the right guy at the plate in Uvino.
Grant made a good throw, but Pearson saw the ball sail towards foul territory, and that in great position to catch it and apply a tag. And good block by Grant. And now with the runner on at third, anything that Jonathan Grant cannot stop today or find right away, that's been his biggest issue. Could cost the Bonnies a run. Uvino waiting on a 2-2 pitch. And a chopper over the mound. Tough play. Jerez makes the play. The throw, not in time. Infield single for Joey Avino. The run scores. And Hicksville does get the insurance run. It's now 3-1.
And a tough play for Jerez, but great effort. This was a beautifully hit ball. We talk about Avino. It's just an outstanding job putting a bat on it. Came a long way. He actually came over second base. Kind of a play that Sebastian Morales might have been able to make. And just adding another run for Hicksville.
So that's a big one. Again, going back to the stolen base that set it up. 3-1 Hicksville Elite. The lead against a team that's 27-12 this summer in the Bonnie Bulls. Torin Casabam, now the number 3 place hitter with an 0 for 2 today. And a called strike. So the leadoff walk does come around to score. All 3 walks issued by Sanchez today at all levels. That adage holds true, especially in this case. But all 3 walks, including both leadoff walks, have come around to score.
Well, just those statistics. We talk about whether it's baseball, softball, or regardless. If a leadoff walk usually results 78% of the time in a run. And so far, those numbers have really proved a factor.
Yep. Today they're 100%. As Casabam fouls it off, he's in an 0-2 hole. And that gives Mike Dallas a little bit more breathing room, the way he could attack these Bonnie Bulls hitters. They still have 6 more outs to get. And within the 3 walks, Hicksville has also stolen a total of 4 bases. And they've advanced on at least 1 wild pitch today. And that 0-2 bends outside. There goes the runner with the pitch lifted out to center. Make that Jerez, the shortstop. Lined up for it and makes the catch. But Hicksville gets an insurance run. A run on an infield hit. And they leave one. Middle of the 6th, the Hicksville Elite looking for their first hardware of the summer. Leading the Bulls 3-1. The Bonnie Bulls running at a time. They now trail Hicksville 3-1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th in a 7-inning, 13-U championship game. Many of these players going into their freshman years of high school. First summer playing on 90-foot bases and with no pitch counts, including Juan Sanchez. With Mike Ballas still on the mound going for Hicksville, and he throws a first pitch strike.
How many of the pitchers today really kind of wish they did have a pitch count?
Well, for Ballas, his game is off speed and keeping you off balance. And Sanchez unhappy with that call, 0-2. And part of the frustration of these Bonnie Bulls hitters. And Ballas here into the 6th on just 65 pitches. And Sanchez rips this one the other way, a base hit. Sharp-looking swing from Sanchez, and a leadoff runner is on to bring the tying run to the plate for the Bonnies.
A couple hits for Sanchez, and he's showing that he can drive a baseball. Pitch a nice soft pitch, slices it right out there. Beautiful job.
And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen here for the Bonnie Bulls. This is the top of the order, and Mike Cuomo perhaps sensing that. And he's going to have a full meeting of the mound here with the infield and Ballas before Willie King comes up to the plate. So perhaps it's just a chatter of strategy, and Balness is going to remain in there. Again, the pitch count is not the problem, just at 65. And they want to make sure of where they may go with the baseball. King has popped out behind the plate and then struck out swinging. And this ball hit the third. Only one play. They go across and not in time. King hustled there. He beats the throw by Owen Johansson. The first two are on for the Bulls.
This is what the Bonnies wanted here. They wanted to be able to drive the ball, advance the runners, and this is the situation. That's twice. That's two now. So we're first and second.
And the number 3 hitter, Christian Jerez. So the first hits for the Bulls since the first inning. And Jerez takes a pitch off the plate. Also pulled to the ground. This time Cuomo, the shortstop, has only one play across the diamond in time for the out. But that advances both runners with one out, and the Bulls now have the tying run in scoring position.
Now, Cuomo has a nice strong arm there down at shortstop. He's not the biggest kid, but he makes the plays and he throws it hard and advances over the runners, so the batter does his job. But nice play there by Cuomo.
So we'll get another conference before Brandon De La Rosa is the scheduled hitter. Timmy Cuomo also turned a fine double play earlier in this game. That came to close out the fourth. Hicksville will keep the infield back, conceding a run to get an out.
I don't know, with one out, typically you want to bring them in a little bit. You don't want to give up a run here. You do have a 2-run lead, but tying runs is sitting on second base.
De La Rosa, 0 for 1, and also reached on an error. A single that plated the lone Bulls run back in the first, and reaching on an E6. It's actually 1 of 2 today as he takes a ball low. This one skipping away from Uvino, but there is no go from the runner at third, Sanchez. Well, the last thing the Bulls want is to have that runner erased at the plate. And that's up high for ball 4. So the Bulls have loaded the bases. Third walk by Balness. And now the go-ahead run is aboard. Still only one out, and the dangerous and strong Marquise Pearson to the plate.
Well, you load up the bases. Now you put a force anywhere. So you want to play that out. Even if you give up one of the runs, you're exchanging out for a run. But you do have a dangerous hitter coming up now that has the ability to drive the ball in the outfield.
As Pearson takes ball 1 high, and an 0 for 2, including grounding out into an inning-ending double play in the fourth that Cuomo turned. So the most important moment of the game is here. And Pearson showed us on a foul ball earlier the strength he has. That anything into the outfield, he's capable of driving between them. And there's ball 3. So the Bulls offense that has been kept quiet for So much of this scorching afternoon with temperatures we last checked at 96 degrees. And there's ball 4 outside, consecutive walks, and now the Bulls are within a run at 3-2. Dallas walks in a run, and that might be all for the Hicksville left-hander.
Yeah, they're going to make a change here. You have to. I mean, he pitched a terrific game, and you know, you take him out now. You bring in a fresh arm. You know, my hat's off to Mike Balness, and what a great job he did in this ball game.
As Coach Mike Cuomo is over, so he officially gives the baseball and the congratulations. We'll tell you about the new pitcher on for Hicksville. It's a 3-2 Hicksville Elite lead, but the Bulls have the bases loaded and still only 1 out. New pitcher into the game for the Hicksville Elite. Trying to protect this 3-2 lead, but the Bonnie Bulls, based in Brooklyn, have the bases loaded and 1 out. So here's Joseph Gambino, who is lined up to be a relief pitcher at some point today for Hicksville. Well, his time is right now. At the moment attending Hicksville Middle School, and that's where he'll be for 8th grade coming up in the fall. And Gambino with a very tough task. He'll face the center fielder Jacob Ortiz for the Bonnie Bulls, after Mike Balness walked consecutive hitters to load him up after consecutive hits to start the inning from Sanchez and King. And the first pitch is ball 1. And Gambino missing outside. And this is where the Hicksville Elite, and talking to Coach Mike Cuomo, that they did not have a lot of pitching depth available at the end of this long weekend. And a ground ball hit to short. Cuomo, chance to turn 2. To second for 1. The turn to first. It's off. Not in time. The tying run is scored. In comes the go-ahead run. De La Rosa scores to make it 4-3. And the Bonnie Bulls have grabbed the lead.
It just goes to show you, you go for the double play here and try to get out of the inning, and it was well executed. Good footwork just to throw off, and because the throw's off, it allows them to come around and score twice.
An error on the second baseman to allow the go-ahead run to score, as Heiderstadt's throw, it would have been close if it was on target. So Ortiz, the lone runner on, as Sebastian Morales bats with 2 gone in the 6th. Pitch up high, thrown out to second with the runner going, not in time. Ortiz with the ball getting away from the center fielder, trying to back up. Ortiz is getting the wave. It's going to be a long throw. Ortiz to the plate. Heiderstadt's throw is not in time. No, they call him out. A delayed call by the home plate umpire, and the Bulls can't believe the call. The inning comes to an end, keeping it at 4-3. The throw appeared to have no chance, and Luis Ortiz upset.
And what a great job. I mean, making a comeback, getting the lead, 3 outs to go for the victory today.
The Bonnie Bulls scoring 3 times in the 6th inning, and it could have been a 4th, Scott Green, as we go to the top of the 7th. A great relay by Andrew Heidenstadt made this play possible to get Jacob Ortiz, who was going all the way from first.
And just a great job lining each other up. That's the biggest key here in fundamental relay baseball. And I'll tell you, I am so impressed with this Joey Avino. Be able to get in front of the plate, taking away the easy path, holding on to the baseball, and making the tag. Just a terrific play there.
Well, the Bulls do take the lead, and as was the plan by Coach Luis Ortiz, he goes to his top reliever or closer. Here's Brandon De La Rosa to pick up after the 6 innings thrown by Juan Sanchez. And Brandon, the big first baseman who's got a big fastball, will face 4, 5, and 6 of the Hicksville Elite lineup. And Brandon, while he was in there at the plate today, was 1 for 2 with a walk and an RBI single. So perhaps a frustrating end to that, but after we see the replay, the plate was indeed blocked. And what could be a huge run that could have been scored by the Bonnie Bulls at 5-3 with a power pitcher at the plate. But with a power pitcher now on the hill, a radical difference compared to one.
Well, you know, Coach Ortiz knows that too, and you know he's in the driver's seat now, 3 outs away from bringing home the hardware. But this was his plan today, to be able to come in. We spoke to him before the game. He said, Juan Sanchez, if he can go the 6 innings, we're then going to make the move and go to Brandon De La Rosa. Well, here we are. This is exactly where the coach scripted it, and now he just wants to be able to script the ending.
I think he expected to have more offense today, but they'll take the runs anytime they can get them. In the 6th, it was 3 runs scored on just 2 hits, and the 2 walks issued by Balness especially hurt to De La Rosa and Pearson. And then the go-ahead run scoring on the E4 throwing to make it where we are 4-3.
Just a well-played game, and in this climate, you got to credit to both teams, and you hate to see one of them go down losing in this one, but wow, this is why the 2 best teams are in the finals.
Owen Johansson sees the first pitch skip to the backstop for ball 1. Owen, a 1 for 2, a Northport kid. And Del Rosa comes right back with a get me over strike. Four hits today for the Hicksville Elite, all singles. And getting a piece of that. You can see how Del Rosa, already big and strong at the age of 13, how at this stage of 13U has the capability of overpowering hitters.
Yeah, and he's a big presence there on the mound. And, you know, anything you watch is his stride. And when you get that stride, he's a legs pitcher. And when you get those legs into it, it adds velocity.
And the 2-2 with Johansson laying off. And there's ball 4, so the tying run is on via a leadoff walk.
Yeah, you know what those leadoff walks do. We talked about that 2 innings ago, and you don't want to walk the tying run on.
So how will the Hicksville Elite play it with James Sill now at the dish? Do they think about a bunt? The Bulls not expecting it. And this one gets away. It's even better. Off the glove of Grant. And advancing to second base is Johansson.
You know, this is sometimes you throw with a lot of power. When the ball gets away from you, it's going to skip off quickly, and allows the runner to advance over to second base, put him in scoring position. That is the tying run.
And De La Rosa, perhaps frustrated by that last one, misses outside, 2-0. He's on the relief of Juan Sanchez. I think the best word we could use about the Bonnie Bull starter is that he persevered. Pitch inside, there goes the runner. Good throw by Grant is not in time. Stolen base of third by Owen Johansson.
think what happened there was Marquise Pearson came up too far in front of the bag. You know, sometimes you got to trust the bag and stay home. And, you know, he came up a little bit too front, and then he had to turn against the grain and just an excellent slide into third base. So very aggressive baseball.
And still awaiting a 3-0 pitch. So now the Bonnie Bulls bring the infield in. And before that happens, time will be called as head coach Luis Ortiz will speak to his right-hander. Well, the count 3-0, clearly not a situation of a squeeze. And it's a very quick word to De La Rosa, maybe just one sentence. And I imagine that has to do with just throwing strikes. James Sill at the plate trying to tie the game. Owen Johansson is at third for Hicksville. And De La Rosa does just what his coach wanted him to throw a strike.
You know, it's funny, you see a lot of teams now, the old adage of 3-0 pitch, you're taking away here definitely because it's a crucial situation. You're seeing more kids now. Coaches are encouraging people to swing on the 3-0 because that may be the best pitch you're going to see.
This one grounded, foul. Would have been a difficult play to make for Pearson to try to charge, think about getting it out, and then also with the runner, Johansson, essentially right at his hip. Now De La Rosa with a payoff pitch. Up high and tight, and that should be ball 4 based on the count we had. And the home plate ump has disagreed. Tough play, Pearson, it gets past his glove into left field, a base hit. James Sill has tied the game for the Hicksville Elite as Johansson walks into score. It's 4-all.
Well, you think about right now, you think about the ending of the last inning on the throw home from center field that erased the insurance run. It's a good piece of hitting. Finding a hole and scoring a tying run.
Johansson had to hold up to make sure the ball went through. So the go-ahead run still with nobody out, and here's Andrew Heidenstadt. Heidenstadt an 0 for 2.
Hey, stay right here, stay right here, stay right here, stay right here. Hey, that ball gets past, that ball gets past. You got no back. Check. On out. On 9. Keep better 9. Take it down. You're good. Off.
There goes Sill. The pitch inside. A ball. Throw down is not in time. A great jump by Sill. And now the go-ahead run in scoring position on the 4th stolen base today by Hicksville.
Well, Hicksville's playing aggressive baseball now. They're trying to take every base that they can. You know, they did it before to try to get that tying run in scoring position, and you know, now looking to try to get the leading run in scoring position. And it's successfully done.
Make that 5 stolen bases on the afternoon.
Hey, Still, come on, buddy. Hey, I want to see you right now. Hey, take a look at
So Heiderstadt waiting. Still from second. And again, with the adventures that we've seen behind the plate, Hicksville's been very aggressive, even to take off on any pitch in the dirt. And now a toss back with Morales covering. De La Rosa finally to the plate. Called strike. There goes to the late steal. And this time thrown out at third base is Sill. So the go-ahead run erased. Strong throw by Grant. Maybe his best and most accurate of the afternoon.
Well, you know, I don't think it was supposed to be delayed. I think he was supposed to be going. You see, you don't get a good jump, and it's committing. It's like, hey, am I going or am I not going? And that split second you hesitate, a good throw is going to get you.
First base runner thrown out by Grant as Heiderstadt fouls it off. Andrew headed to Chaminade coming up in the fall to start his freshman year. This one rolls over to third, Pearson, and it's a foul ball. So once again, a leadoff walk scores in this game. And for the Hicksville Elite, all four of their runs that have been scored today, the runner originally got on via the walk. As De La Rosa misses inside on 0-2. And then the Hicksville Elite have simply put the ball in play when they've needed to. An RBI ground out by Gambino. They put the ball in play to take the lead on an unearned run at 2-1 in the third inning. And the score stayed that way for a while. They tacked on another run to make it 3-1 in the sixth. On a slow roller out to short that Joey Uvino beat out. Swing and a miss there by Heiderstadt, and he is retired for the second out. First strikeout for De La Rosa.
I'll tell you, if the Brooklyn Bonnies can get out of this one and only in a tie, they've won this inning, because this could have really went bad for them. And they got some good hitters coming up in the bottom half of the seventh inning. Try to win this game.
Timmy Cuomo takes the first pitch strike. Cuomo reaching on a little bloop to the shortstop that he beat out in the fifth. And it's 1-1 to the Hicksville shortstop. And for the Elite, looking ahead to the bottom of the seventh, it's Joey Gambino that is now on the mound. At this level, the re-entry rule is, while both teams have players on the bench, if you pinch run or pinch hit somebody for a starter, then they exit, you lose the substitute. Cuomo checked his swing, went around 2-2. This one lifted over first. Sanchez sees it fall over his head. It'll be a base hit. A blue hit for Cuomo. He's able to just muscle it out over the new first baseman, Juan Sanchez.
That was a good piece of hitting by Cuomo, too. This is just called protecting. Get the bat head out. Go with the pitch. Don't try to always pull a ball to the outside. And just found a little opening. That's all you need.
So Timmy Cuomo's 2 for 3. And Shane Schwartz gets some quick instructions from Mike Cuomo along the third base coaching box.
It goes to show you how important that was throwing out at third.
And now with Timmy Cuomo at the plate, do they elect to run? And that's what the Bonnie Bulls are thinking about with a quick check on him. Walks and taking the extra base has been the primary product for Hicksville today. De La Rosa to the plate, and a ground ball well hit past the third baseman Pearson and into left field. Cuomo will stop at second. 2 on with 2 out for the Hicksville Elite in the 7th.
A nice piece of hitting for Shane Schwartz. The left fielder is able to sit and drive and puts it right through. And been a tough day over there at third base for Marquise Pearson. A lot hit his way today. A lot of pulled balls.
Now Mike Balness. And a check into the ball thrown to center field. Ortiz came up with it and throwing back behind the runner Cuomo. And a nearly disastrous form of miscommunication by the Bonnies.
He was making that turn to throw, and I'm thinking, there's nobody standing there. Second and shortstop are still staying in position. Jacob Ortiz has a strong arm in center field.
And De La Rosa misses high. And he's been trying to find himself over the course of this long top of the 7th. That started with a leadoff walk, a wild pitch, and a steal of third set the table for the Hicksville Elite. James Sill tied the game during all that with an RBI single to left, making it 4-4. After a strikeout, Cuomo and Schwartz have come up with singles. And Balness chops it out to second. Morales reaches for, bobbles, and has no play. Even on the second ball, had he picked it up, he still would have been able to get Balness. But the second bobble ultimately cost Sebastian Morales. The bases are loaded following the error.
I'll tell you what, they're getting every opportunity here to get this lead. You know, a couple bobbles, a few walks, and still only 1 run has come across the board. This has been a very long inning.
So Gio Frias and De La Rosa again missing high. Frias with a walk, a stolen base, and struck out swinging.
You know, the heat has to be taking its toll on these young men. Going a couple hours in now into the 7th inning.
And this one away from Grant, but Cuomo does not dare to try to get to the plate. So Brandon De La Rosa, here comes pitch number 32 of this top of the 7th for him, who came on in relief of the starter Juan Sanchez. And there's the strike he needed, 2-1.
They ain't 2 out, they ain't covering. They ain't gonna let score 2.
3-1.
Well, nowhere to put him here. A walk will give Hicksville the lead. Hey, walks have been so critical today.
It's meant everything to Hicksville. De La Rosa walks in the go-ahead run. And the Hicksville Elite lead 5-4. Frias laid off the high pitch, and Cuomo trots in.
De La Rosa having a tough time trying to find the strike zone, and hasn't had exactly a lot of help behind him either.
An unearned run scores for Hicksville. Here's Joe Gambino still with the bases loaded. And De La Rosa starts him off with a strike. And you can certainly credit the Hicksville Elite hitters for not getting themselves out over the course of the day.
Heads up, James. Wild. Watch the wild stuff.
And there's a strike in the inner half of the plate. Big pitch for De La Rosa, 1-2.
As hard as De La Rosa throws, he could almost take a little bit off his pitch in order to be consistent finding the strike zone. He's a big kid, has a lot of velocity, good mechanics.
That's it. That's it.
2-2 with Grant coming up with the block. Now at the runner at third is Shane Schwartz. And a swing and a miss, so De La Rosa finally gets out of the inning. He gets a pair of strikeouts, but not before the Hicksville Elite not only tie the game, but take the lead. 2 runs on 2 hits, and they leave 3. To the bottom of the 7th we go with the Elite looking for a championship. Bottom of the 7th inning. Last chance for the Bonnie Bulls as the Hicksville Elite scoring twice in the top of the 7th inning. And the Bulls today, 4 runs on just the 4 hits. And they went 4 full innings without a base hit and struggled against the Hicksville Elite starter Mike Boundless before finally knocking him out in the 6th inning. Joe Gambino came on and got the last 2 outs. And here's Sebastian Morales. And it was Morales that was at the plate with that wild play that saw Jacob Ortiz trying to score from first base on a throwing error originally on the catcher, but a very good relay executed by Hicksville was able to nail Ortiz at home. Lifts this one out to second and making a fine catch. That ball looked like it was going to maybe sail a little bit further, but Andrew Heiderstadt able to reach out and nab it. Nice play.
Well, I'll tell you what, you take that away right off the bat. That would have been a leadoff single, and here we go. But what a great job getting out just into center field and making that play. That's a big-time catch.
Nice job by Heiderstadt, tall second baseman. So Orem Williams takes a pitch high. Orem, as Coach Luis Ortiz explained to us, it's Mario spelled backwards. 1-1. On deck is Jonathan Grant, the Bonnie Bulls catcher. Foul ball at the plate, evening up at 2-2. So Gambino tasked to keep the ball in play. Williams would love to get on, has very good speed. We saw him advance to second early in the game on a wild pitch. And there's ball 4, so a one-out base runner now for the Bonnies. So the tying run is on with Williams, and we'll see how aggressive Coach Luis Ortiz will be to try to send him.
Well, you know how important this run is, and you know, here's where you also got to be careful too. When you're calling pitches, you may not call the high-risk pitches that can be low in the dirt or the curve balls. You know, you might try to be safe, force them to put the ball into play, because you don't want to give up an easy base on a pass ball either.
And Coach Mike Cuomo out to bring the whole infield together. And he's going to leave Gambino in there.
We talked to him before the game. He said he didn't have a lot of choice. He said he was 2 pitchers, maybe 3 left that he can use today. So he was going to be trying to use Boundless as far as he possibly can go. So, you know, he doesn't have a lot of choice left. So he says, hey, let's try to finish this game here.
So Jonathan Grant, will he take a couple of pitches for Williams? He does here, a ball high. And Gambino with a delayed thought over the first, but Williams was able to read his back leg immediately. And Gambino to the plate, missing high.
Think about how big Heiderstadt's catch was to start off this inning.
There goes Williams. The pitch up high for a ball. The throw down is into center field, but backed up by Waiting.
Well, puts them into scoring position. This is exactly what they needed. 3-0 the count. So you gotta he's taking all the way right here.
And there's ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk to Jonathan Grant. And now the winning run is aboard at first. And then here comes the number 10 hitter, Nadav Daniel for the Bonnies. And then the very dangerous top of the order for the Bulls. Time called again.
That's a second trip out. It appears they're going to leave him in the game. And I think the question is, in a lot of leagues, whether you're looking at high school or junior high school ball, once the manager makes 2 trips to the mound, typically he would have to come out of the game. But under the rule here, it appears that he's going to stay in the game. And we're going to play ball.
Hicksville does have warm-up action. There is a bullpen here at Barella Fields. So they have someone throwing now. And there's a first pitch strike to Nadav Daniel.
Hey, come on, get into him, Joe.
Daniel 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a bounce out to second. And that's low. New base runner on at first is Sebastian Morales. He made the first out of this inning, and he is running for the catcher in Jonathan Grant. So an even faster potential winning run aboard at first for Bonnies. And a line drive out to right. Sill on the run, can't get it, and it's past him, going all the way into the right field alley. 1 run will score. Morales gets the turn, and he'll be held up at third. The Bulls have tied the game with an RBI double by Nadav Daniel at 5.
Well, you know, you never underestimate the person who hits last in a lineup. That just goes to show you and how tough this team is from top to bottom and why they put up over 14 runs a game in this tournament. Beautifully hit, drives the ball into the gap. This is just what the Bulls needed. Now they are sitting in position with a chance to win this game. And I'll tell you, you know, maybe he was going to take that chance of sending home the winning run.
Now time is called, and now the new pitcher will come in for Hicksville. Well, they've been able to hold the Bonnies without an extra base hit until that. New pitcher to the game is the third baseman, Owen Johansson, now moving over to the mound. We'll tell you about him when we return on Verizon Fios 1 Sports. Owen Johansson, the third pitcher on for the Hicksville Elite. And it comes into a doozy. Tied at 5, bottom of the 7th inning of a 7-inning game. The Bonnie Bulls with the winning run on at third with 1 out. And the starting pitcher, Juan Sanchez, who's already 2 for 3 today, is Johansson's first batter.
I'll tell you right now, I put him on first base because you got one of the best hitter here. He's got 2 hits already today. He's one of the stars for this Brooklyn team. You got an open spot at first, put him at first, force out. I don't know. That would be my call here.
Fake throw down to third by Yavino. As that is the pinch runner Morales.
Yeah, this is definitely a place where you, with first base unoccupied and the best hitter at the plate, you put him on first. Set up a force anywhere on the field.
Sanchez goes after it. 2-1. The infield in all the way around, as you might anticipate for the Hicksville Elite. The Bonnie Bulls looking for their first title of the summer. 2-2. Owen Johansson trying to shut the door. And a line drive, base hit to center field, and the Bonnie Bulls win. Juan Sanchez started and persevered and comes up with a 3-for-4 day at the plate. The Bulls capture their first championship of the summer. They walk away with a 6-5 victory in Plainview.
And so well scripted. You look at a guy like Juan Sanchez, what a day he had, pitched an exceptional game with the bat, comes through at the end with the game-winning hit.
It'll be a very satisfying long ride back to Brooklyn on this hot day. Juan Sanchez delivering.
And he was able to get his hands out in front, square it up perfectly, and put it out into the gap.
Sanchez the hero, the Bulls the win. We'll be back with a post-game reaction from the field on Verizon Fios 1 Sports. The Bonnie Bulls, 5 runs in the 6th. They give up the lead in the 7th. They come back with 2 more to win it and capture their first tournament championship of the summer. 6-5, stunning the Hicksville Elite here in Plainview. Juan Sanchez did it all. He started and went 3-for-4 on the plate and is now with Scott Green.
Juan, just a terrific game today. You guys won your first of the summer in your tournaments. You were able to do it in a game-winning fashion on a walk-off hit. Take us through it, and what does it feel like to win the game here on Independence Day week?
It feels really good because this is our first tournament being won, so it was a pretty good experience.
Now, you had to pitch through some heat today. Talk about what it was like playing through the 95-plus heat today.
It was a lot because I would go in the dugout, I would be overheated, I would have to cool myself down, and then I'd have to come back out and do it all over again.
What did the team do? How did you guys manage to stay hydrated during the throughout the game? I'm sure for everybody.
We just tried to relax, stay hydrated, and stay cool. That's it.
Now you guys have a pretty big tournament coming up this year. You're going to be headed to Rockford, Illinois to play in the World Series. Talk about what does it take to prepare to get ready for a tournament like that?
It takes a lot, because if we play like this, it's going to be a lot harder. So we need to work on our hitting, our fielding, and maybe we'll be good. Maybe we'll win that too.
How's it feel to bring a tournament back to Brooklyn?
Feels really good, really good.
Congratulations on a great win. Ralph?
Thank you, Scott. For Juan Sanchez, he had to persevere, as he explained. 6 innings, giving up 4 hits. I think he'll be the first one to tell you he didn't have his grade A stuff, but he still lasted a long time and just gave his offense a chance to explode, which they did in the final 2 innings. And this is an offense that had scored 46 runs in 3 games before finally breaking through the late innings, 6-5. De La Rosa the win, Gambino the loss. The Bonnie Bulls, tournament champions in the Hot Stove Baseball Independence Showdown 13U bracket. For our entire crew, this game was produced and directed by Frank Lasquadro. For my partner Scott Green, I'm Ralph Bednarczyk, saying so long and have a great 4th of July week on Verizon Fios One Sports.
This has been a special presentation of Verizon Fios One Sports.